Good afternoon, everybody. KC3QPJ here. Handle is Aaron. And I hope everybody's having a good year, along with all the medical complications this country has seen and all the political complications that this country has seen in the last 8 months. But we're not here to talk about that today. I just wanted to give an update on 2 items. Update on my TYT 7800D, I believe the model was. D as in Delta. I am now using that as a home base station, and it is working out phenomenally well. And I took out my Icom ID5100A from my base station and have now put it in my vehicle. And I'm going to work this one pretty hard, but I will tell you, for the money, it is twice the cost of the TYT 7800, but has also proven itself for reliability and features, and really mainly what you're paying for with this radio are the features and a better mic, a little bit better noise canceling. I will say that the sensitivity on this could be a little bit better at discriminating bad signals and putting forth the good signals. This accepts a little more interference than I would like it to, but however, that being said, it has been a phenomenally great unit to be in my vehicle. Some of the features of this radio are the digital voice. You can do digital voice in simplex. Generally you want to stay away from the 14652, and also you have D-Star built into this. 50 watts output on both UHF, VHF, and touchscreen. So it has been doing a good job, and main reason I made the switch to take my TYT from my truck is I wasn't utilizing the D-Star as much as I wanted to, and now that I've put it, I apologize, I am now on my dirt road home. So now that I've put it in my vehicle, I'm using this D-Star a lot more than I normally would. And right now I'm localized to one repeater, but I've noticed that being in my vehicle, it's doing a much better job in my vehicle than it ever did at home. So it's been a great unit. Still reaches out just like the TYT did. Can even get out a little further. The power is exactly where it's supposed to be. I'm using the same Diamond NR770HA, I believe it is, or the HB, whatever one has the UHF connector on there, and it does an awesome job. So I'm about here to my home QTH, and I'm going to stop while I have a chance here and have a little bit of time to just show you a little bit of the features that I've been using on this radio. Now that I'm in my home QTH, I can pull up here and stop and give you guys a little bit more detailed deal here. So I'm going to widen my screen here and turn sideways. Well, here is the face of the radio, and all this area is all touchscreen. Okay, you can have it in the VFO mode or your memory mode, and right now it's in memory mode. You hit the VM button, and it switches between simplex or VFO. Hit it again and it goes back to your program stations. Also, this main button will let you choose beside, which band you want to use. Right now I have it on this band, and I'm monitoring the input because we've had a lot of problems with people interfering with the repeater that are not licensed. So I'm in the process of triangulating these people, as well as other radios in undisclosed locations that are doing the same. And it's just going to be a matter of time before the unlicensed ham is caught if he keeps it up. So I hate having to do that, but it's getting to the point where it's out of hand and interferes with communications on the repeater network. So right now I have this in the VFO mode. So this is your sub channel once your main is over here. So you can change this to be your transmitting side just by hitting the main button, and then you'll transmit on this side. The other slick feature that I like is when you're on this side, this is a big display. It's about as big as my cell phone, if not bigger. My cell phone almost fits inside between the knobs of this radio, so if you've never had this radio, you definitely are not going to be able to complain about the display on this unit. Does have built-in GPS, generally accurate up to about 30 to 40 feet in elevation, but the grid coordinates are pretty much spot on when you bring up the information. If you see this little icon right here, this is your memory card, letting you know that you do have a memory card in there. It does allow you to record transmissions and broadcasts, so it does a really good job, and it will pause between transmissions automatically, so it's not just, you know, constantly eating up the memory space on the unit itself. But here's the coolest feature I like. If you hit and hold the main button, you have one giant display for whatever channel you're on, and it cancels out the dual band receive, and it is a true dual band receive. So if you are on two stations, when you're on, now it's just single band receive. I apologize, I should have been a little more clear. So if we put it back on dual band receive, let's hold it down. If this side of the radio is on the 70 centimeter band, when you're talking on the 2 meter band, you will still receive the transmissions on the 70 centimeter band and hear it. So I recommend that you turn your volume down when you are transmitting on the band that you are trying to talk on. That way the sound coming from this side won't override and bleed through to the people that you're talking to. I do have 2 external speakers hooked up in the truck, one behind each headrest, since this is a single cab vehicle. There's one behind each headrest so that I can, you know, manipulate each side, you know, side A and side B, and know which band or which side of the radio the transmission's coming in from. The other thing is, it is 1,000 stations programmable. It also does the D-Star, so let's go over here and I'll put on the D-Star by hitting the DR button. This is our local repeater in Frederick, and I have it using reflector. They keep that reflector on the D-Star linked to 62 Charlie, which is mainly the Delmarva area, or what they call the tri-state area, which is more like 4 states. Not a lot of activity on there, but you are able to change the reflector, you know, ask if the reflector is being in use. I would say school yourself a little bit on how to use D-Star. It can be very, very, very confusing if you've never used it, but it's very, each time you depress the mic button to talk, it sends a command regardless of what you're doing, unless you are on use reflector or on local CQ. But using D-Star through a repeater, you always want to use the reflector in case there's an active reflector, that you can hear what's going on. If you're on local CQ, you will not hear the conversation coming through the reflector. So just be mindful of that as a new user to D-Star. Volume knob, 2 independent volume knobs on each side, independent squelch controls on each side, independent VFOs for each side of the radio, very detailed menu, which I put in my last video. You know, there's 3 pages of your main and a lot of sub menus that you can go through, and this being a GPS unit, it's very, now that station coming in right now, believe it or not, is out of Philadelphia, and sometimes it comes through on the input on our repeater, but that's a very distant station. That's at least 160 miles from my current QTH, so that actually comes through the repeater signal. Has all the features, if not more, than the TH. Well, it definitely has a lot more features than the TYT. The biggest downside is the accessories for Icom are very expensive. The head, which is this being the head, does not mount to the radio. It doesn't matter what you do. It's not made to mount to the radio. It's made to be a separate, independent control face. And the other downside is the only thing that plugs into the head of the radio is the control cable coming from the radio to the side of the radio here. That is not the mic cable. But that cable is about 16 feet long and allows you to mount that head anywhere you want to in your vehicle. It does come with it even on the more basic models that are not deluxe models. So the biggest downfall of this radio that I've seen up to this point is the mic plugs into the radio, and Icom needs to start changing that and stop trying to sell me accessories, because you're going to waste a lot more money on accessories than need be. That's why I made my own accessory. I have this mounted with an iPhone mount on my custom console. The other reason I didn't want to do a permanent mount is these displays being dot matrix or liquid crystal, very susceptible to UV light. So when I know I'm going to be directly in sunlight, I'll pull my head off and hide it under the seat. Then when I want to use it again, put it in the iPhone holder and good to go. This also gives the compatibility of, facing it down if you don't want the bright light. In the nighttime, I put the brightness on the display down very low because it is very bright, and it's probably on the 2 setting right now. So it does really good, and the contrast doesn't look real good on the video, but that's only because of the outdoor light reflecting off of my cell phone into the face of the radio. So my overall review of this radio is going to be this. If you want to get into D-Star, this is the most economical way to go about it. They have handy talkies made by Kenwood and Icom that are D-Star, but those handy talkies cost more than this radio does. I'm sorry. They cost more than this radio does. D-Star is a lot of fun. It gives you instant global communication via digital network, either through a repeater or your home computer. If you're doing it through your home computer using some kind of dongle or Blue DV, you don't need to use a lot of power to do so. Generally, when I'm running to use D-Star on the road, which I do on the road, I'll keep about 25 watts on until I get within 10 miles of the repeater, and then drop it down to about 5 watts so that I'm not overloading the receiver on the repeater network. And it does really good. We have a very reliable D-Star repeater up here in Frederick. If you guys have any questions about reliability, it has been absolutely reliable. Haven't had a lick of trouble out of it. It is very cost effective for what it is, and I think at HRO I paid $430 for this unit, and it does a lot. I will say it does a lot, and it does have scan feature. The scan feature is very fast, I will tell you that. So let's go over here to the main. Right now I have about a total of 700 channels in here, maybe a little bit less. But hit the scan feature mode, which means I'm in the VFO mode. Hit the mode button. I'm in the memory mode, I'm sorry. So let's see how fast it can go through there. So let's turn my squelch up. Alright, and then it'll continue here in a minute once it doesn't sense any more squelch. We're already up to 38. So as you can see, it goes through all the channels pretty quickly. So it has a very good scan rate, and it does stop on the stations that are doing it. Now, I'm not scanning all 700. I'm just scanning bank A at the moment. If I do all banks, then it might take, out of 700 channels, it might take about 15 seconds to 20 seconds tops to cycle through all that on the scan mode. And it does receive aircraft AM and FM, and is Part 90 compliant, or Part 97, Part 15. Basically, it'll only transmit in the ham bands. There are modifications that you can do that to unlock a little bit more range on the radio, but I do not recommend it. I would just stay within the allotted amateur bands. But that being said, great radio. If you guys have any questions, I'm sure other people have done reviews on this. I do monitor my notifications here on my channel, and we'll try to answer you as quickly as possible. Do I think this is a practical unit? Any unit is practical if it works. Do I think this would be a good unit for a bug out situation or a doomsday situation? It doesn't have any more advantage in that scenario than the TYT 7800. You have to understand, a lot of digital networks will be overloaded in a disaster situation. So I think the use of your D-Star is just going to be pretty much redundant at that point. but you never know. But as far as global communications, this is a great gateway outside of DMR radio and Fusion and HF. So practicality, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say it's about a 7 to 8. And I can't really say much more about it other than I am absolutely satisfied, and this radio has performed to the best of its ability. So, that being said, everybody, I appreciate your time, and hopefully I can come out with some more reviews here soon. I have been using DMR 878, and here I am on the farm at home, and I'm going to go ahead and end this review. And my next review will be of my DMR 878 radio. So you guys have a fine day. Thanks for watching. And hope you guys like the fact that I'm not trying to plug a business or trying to get any money out of you. And this is just pure honest review. I don't get paid. I'm doing this on my own time when I feel like it'd be a benefit to somebody. So you all have a good one. This is KC3QPJ 73. And we'll see each other again soon. Have a good one.